So, studying in Lithuania. What is it actually like? Well, one day you can be going to school and it looks like this. And another you can be going to school in a snowstorm. So today I'll be telling you a little bit about what I thought, how the school looked, and what some other students had to say about it. So, please enjoy! Vilnius Technical University, or VGTU for short, is actually one of Lithuania's most prestigious universities, if not the world, scoring in the top 2.6% according to the QS University ranking system on mostly architecture, business management and economics. The different faculties of VGTU are spread around the city. For example, the faculties of mechanics, transport engineering and creative industries can be found in the city center, while aviation is further on at the airport. The main campus of VGTU is actually about 30 to 45 minutes away from these in the city center and all the way in the north in Salettikis. You can get to this part by buses 2, 10, 19, 4G, 5G, 18 and 38. Here you'll also find dorms, and the Vilnius University is right around the corner. The faculties that you'll find here is that of business management, environmental engineering, fundamental sciences, and civil engineering. So if you're going to be studying at any of these faculties, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time here. The main campus has those 4 main buildings as well, with the big building and the VGTU logo on it, being the business management building. The glass building next to it, as I like to call it, is the more administrative business, with also the international office that can be found there. Then you have the environmental engineering building right behind it, with a clock that always shows the wrong time. And the one that connects those two is civil engineering. I am currently walking in the connective hallway between the business faculty and the glass building. And in the glass building you'll find places like the international office, you'll have your introduction days here. And the international office is actually where you can go when you have all sorts of problems, if you need help, if you need language advice, anything. They're always happy to help you over there. I'm here with my coffee from the cafeteria. The main campus has several facilities, like a coffee shop, a cafeteria, a kebab shop, a pizza vending machine, study rooms, and more. It also has a small library and a bigger library 1 bus stop further on. This library is open 24/7, so if you need a place to study without your roommate, if you live in the dorms, this place is probably the best one you've got. The campus is also located smack dab in the middle of a forest, which makes for great walks when you're really stressed. A little tip that I caught on to is that when you're really hungry and you're going to get a coffee and some food at the caffeine, the coffee shop near the campus, you'll notice that the food there is quite expensive. So instead of buying the food there, you go in, you take the door to the right, which is labeled toilets, and then you come to a little self-serving supermarket where you can pretty much open the fridge, get the food you want, scan it and pay, which is about €1 cheaper per item than anything you can get in the caffeine. So, attending Vilnius Tech. My personal experience of studying at Vilnius Tech is a bit chaotic. I feel like the English of teachers is somewhat mediocre, which makes classes sometimes hard to follow. And classes can be long in a drag. They're about 30 minutes longer than I'm used to, which made it hard to keep paying attention. But I've never seen a university with this wide array of different classes, which really allows for you to specialize in what you want to specialize. So for example, I study tourism, but I was able to take also classes in environmental engineering. However, all classes do have homework, and if you have the same class twice a week, you'll get homework twice a week, which isn't always useful. The homework is often in the form of presentations, so if you want to learn how to present in front of an audience, Vilnius Tech is probably a great option, and you'll learn it just by doing your homework. A thing that does really hinder this is that the English of the teachers was mediocre, so sometimes they're unable to really explain to you in a clear, constructive manner what you're meant to do for said homework, which leaves a lot of room for interpretation and can often lead to very chaotic projects. At VGTU, you can also study extra classes that are not necessarily part of the curriculum but are fun to do nonetheless, like traditional dance or Lithuanian for international students. And the Lithuanian is what people noted that they enjoyed the best, because you not only learn the language but also the culture, which helped in general quite a lot with cultural clashes that you would have otherwise had. Do note that a lot of these classes have tryouts in September, so make sure you sign up on time. To be honest, I do personally have the feeling that generally teachers don't want to see Erasmus students again. So it's not unusual that you get a 10 out of 10 for a test that you really didn't deserve. Tests are significantly easier than the homework and the material we handled in class. And however, this is definitely not the case for all teachers, because a lot of teachers really put the effort in and made it an amazingly fun experience. But I did notice that I had the feeling that a lot of teachers gave Erasmus students a passing grade, because otherwise Erasmus students would have to come back for another semester with them. For example, classes that I think did a great job with the immersion of students was, for example, ecological design, where we did a trip to the botanical gardens, or a sustainable environment, where we got interactive games, or negotiation in business, where we, for example, had some guest lectures, or personal finance, where someone of the bank came through and talked to us on how to invest. So there were some very interesting experiences, also very interesting to get those from a Lithuanian perspective. While the classes are very informative, I feel like sometimes they could get more in depth, but the difficulty of some classes was a welcoming challenge for me. What wasn't a welcoming challenge was that it felt like the teachers would drop off the face of the earth as soon as a class was done. It was really hard to contact some people. Sometimes you could send tons of email and you wouldn't even get a reply, or you get a reply after the issue had already been solved. And that was sometimes hard to deal with, the communication with teachers or the communication between departments. So if you're having these troubles as well, go higher up or to the international office, because it's not an issue that will resolve itself. Vilnius Tech also makes use of a mentor program, which is where you get connected to a local student and that local student will help you out, which has been of a huge amount of help, because they can also you can talk to them and you can ask them questions on what you have to do and how you can get in contact with certain teachers, for example. So you can also try that if all other forms of communication fail. Despite it all, students still recommend studying at Vilnius Technical University for your Erasmus. In a survey I took in December of 2021 among 22 other students, 86% said they highly recommend Vilnius Tech. And here are some of their testimonials. Lots of events made by ESN, very friendly ESN people, unconventional country, and the opportunity to travel to the Baltic states. It is a beautiful city where you can do a lot of stuff and fun things during your Erasmus. The university has good courses, and even though the workload is very heavy, here the grades are pretty good. It depends. If you want to party, it's perfect. If you want new courses and a nice university experience, then no. And I think that resonates with me as well. The events and the city itself are amazing, but the communication with some teachers and the way that a lot of people just get A's really limits, enhances the experience for me. When it came to the biggest hurdles in studying at VGTU, other students also noted the following. I don't like having to do all the homework for some courses, when some don't really matter with the actual grade, and you have to correct them until they're all well done to be able to do the final test. To do presentations instead of doing practical work or learning something useful, wasting time to listen to other people's presentations. Highly unprofessional teachers, no communication or reachability, and completely disorganized professors. The faculties are really far away from each other, so it's difficult to take courses in different faculties. And my personal favorite is a lot of partying, so I'll need to study now. So, in conclusion, I do honestly recommend studying at Vilnius Tech, but more so for what the country and what Vilnius has to offer than for the university itself. But the issues I have with the university are not specific to Vilnius Tech, but more an issue that a lot of universities struggle with, which is the communication issue of teachers not responding, being overloaded with work they already have, and not being clear what you have to do, which is mostly caused by a language barrier. With you trying to speak English, which is usually your second language, and a teacher doing exactly the same. But I think this also depends highly on your faculty, because I've heard from people in the ecological engineering faculty that the English is not great, while the business faculty has less issues with this. But VGTU has so many courses that you can really get a curriculum that's tailor-made to what you want to specialize in and really focus on your future. Plus the extra classes like Lithuanian and traditional dance make it really fun to get immersed into the local culture. But the university doesn't just set you out free in the world and let you figure everything out on your own. But this is mostly because of the mentor program and the international office. So it has ways and people who can help you deal with cultural differences. And a thing I think is really unique on Vilnius Tech is the incredibly tightly knit community of students and ESN personnel that you never truly feel alone. And you always have people around you can talk to. It's always fun. It's always informative, and it's such a non-hostile environment that you really feel like you start your own new family with the people there. Even though you're all from different mothers, different fathers, different cultures, different lands, different backgrounds, everything. You become so close after an Erasmus, being in a completely new country that most people that are there have never been to before, that you really become best friends. So despite the communication issues, despite not knowing what to do, despite presentations as homework, despite a heavy workload, and despite grades that you might not really deserve, I do hope that people pick this place for the Erasmus, because the time I've had, I wouldn't trade for the world. I hope this short little essay could give you a little bit more of an insight what it's like to study at Vilnius Tech. And in the next video, I'll be talking about accommodation, so dorms, staying in Airbnb, staying in apartments, the whole shebang as a student. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Check the description for further information. Leave a like, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. Bye bye!